ask how y'all living, because we all seen the news and we're on social media. But I really debated on doing this video because I know it's a really, I really debated on doing this video. I want to say rest in peace to George Floyd, and my condolences to him and his family. Is really sad, especially as a mother of a black boy, and it's really sad. Like, it's really, really sad. Like, I really didn't want to talk about this, but how can you not talk about this? Because it's really sad. You know, when I saw the video of the officer kneeling his knee on George Floyd, you probably hear my son in the background. When I saw the video, it was, what really saddened me the most is that I'm watching this video knowing that he's about to die. Like, I'm waiting to see how he dies. I was watching the video and I'm like, I knew this man was about to die. That's what bothered me the most, is that I knew at the end of this video I was going to see him. And I'm watching him suffer and him screaming out for his mother, and he can't breathe. I can't breathe. It was so sad. And I don't know about you, but if you watch this video and it didn't like invoke or provoke something in you, then I don't know. I felt so helpless. Like, oh my God, like, it was just so sad. Honestly, it's really sad. And there's a lot going on right now, especially in Minnesota. And it's really sad. But I have some Alfredo fettuccine with some broccoli. And I have some hot sauce and a water. But I didn't want to talk about this, you know. I'm going to be open with you all. I wanted to be in law enforcement. I have a degree in criminal justice, and I wanted to be in law enforcement. I really did. And I'm going to speak on my experience. This is my experience, okay? So, growing up, for me, the way I see law enforcement or police officers now, that wasn't how I viewed them growing up. I grew up in North Miami, and I was in the PAL program, the Palace Police Athletic League. I grew up in a PAL program in my neighborhood. I was a very active person in my community. I grew up surrounded by law enforcement officers. My mentors were police officers, and yeah, they inspired me to be a police officer. You know, I grew up with police officers around me up until high school, you know. Went to college, got my degree in criminal justice. Even after I graduated, I was like, I still want to be a police officer. Like, it was my passion, and it was because of those police officers that I grew up with, surrounded with in North Miami, and those officers inspired me because I wanted to be active in my community. And unfortunately, well, maybe not unfortunately, but now my reality, growing up, my reality and my views on police officers isn't the same as how many view officers today, you know. But what has been going on, because this isn't new, what has been going on, like I said, I got my degree, years ago. So this isn't new. This has been happening. I got my degree years ago, and unfortunately, due to, you know, the police brutality, it has, let's just say, I no longer want to be a police officer. I no longer want to be a police officer. I have a degree in criminal justice, and I wanted to be like those police officers that, I know I'm not eating, y'all, but I wanted to be like those police officers I grew up, I was surrounded by. But I'm not saying I couldn't, but honestly, I didn't want to be associated with nothing, you know. I'm a free thinking person, you know, but I just didn't want to be associated with anything. And I don't want to just ramble. But I didn't want to be there were 4 officers. I seed. There were 4 officers involved that day, involving what we saw, the death of George Floyd. There were 4 officers. Before I get into that, I really want to applaud the young man that spoke up during the entire ordeal. I commend him. I applaud him. It was brave and courageous of him to do that, and do that meaning speaking up. Speaking up. During the entire time that officer had his knee on George Floyd, this man was talking to, he kept saying chow, chow. This man was talking to that officer, like talking to Officer Chow, you know, telling him like, this man can't breathe, you know, he can't breathe, you know. I really applaud him for that. Even the young lady, like, thankfully we have, you know, our camera phones, even her like recording. But that man, and she started becoming vocal too. I appreciate those bystanders for being vocal and not just standing by and observing and witnessing this man's death, but they spoke up and they actually said something. I really applaud them. I really do, because they could have just stood there and not say anything, but they said something. They said something. They tried. They really tried. But even though I could have became a police officer, God forbid something were to happen on my shift, and no matter what, as you guys can see, you're guilty by association. And Chow, he may not have had his knee on George Floyd's neck, but his silence was deafening. Him not saying nothing said something. No, I don't want any parts of it. I just wouldn't want any parts of it. Nope. He could have said something. He could have said something. He could have said something. He should have said something. George Floyd may still be here if he had just said something. It was just so sad. Like, it was so sad. It was really sad. So this day, I still won't use my degree in criminal justice. I don't want no parts of it. And this isn't against any police officers, the good guys, the good cops, but I just don't want to be associated with it at all. I'm sorry. It's sad too, because I still owe Sally Mae for this degree that I will never use in criminal justice, because I don't want any parts of law enforcement. Like I said, you know, I have nothing against cops and officers, especially the good ones, because like I said, some of my mentors were police officers, you know. Shoot, my mentor, he even helped me get a job, you know. But I'm so sorry. It was so sad. So sad. It's really sad. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna end this video right here. I just wanted to touch on that. My condolences to his family. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Rest in peace to George Floyd.